Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do kind of a plan with me in my HB90 planner, and I just figured I would show you guys how I have been utilizing it because I am doing something a little bit different. I kind of jerry-rigged the system a little bit to make it work for me and what I like have as far as materials to use. So excuse me. I have this, which is a 3-ring binder, and this is where I did the entirety of my Q1 planning for the HB90 system, and I utilized the system the way it's meant to be utilized, I guess. Let me see if I have any blank weeks. Show you what the pages look like. Okay, so at the beginning of each quarter, so it's a quarterly planning system. At the beginning of each quarter, there's like this workbook situation that helps you kind of block out your time and figure out how much time you really have, and like setting your goals and everything. So I did that. And then this is what, let me move this. This is what the system looks like. So at the beginning of each week, you have this tasks page. So within the system, you're meant to set up 3 main like goals. And then so you have one for each goal, and then all of your tasks for the goals go in those columns. And then you have this page where you can keep track of your task blocks and how long everything takes you. And then you have a weekly page. The way that I'm using this planner this quarter, I don't have this weekly page, which is going to take a toll on my planner sticker usage. And the reason that's important is because I have a goal to use up a certain amount of planner sticker sheets. So that will be hindered a little bit, but it'll be fine. So you have a weekly. And then, so this is where I usually plan out my like plan for the week. I put in what I plan to do each day. And then you go into the daily pages where you have an hourly set up right here. And then you have these like different boxes. And let me show you how, let me see if I could find, yeah, so this is what my weeklies would usually look like. Sticker chaos, but those would be my plans. And then this is what my dailies would look like. So I keep track of what I actually did during the day. I don't use this hourly to pre-plan my day. I write out what I did and when I did it so I could see how long it took me. And then each goal has a different highlighter color associated with it. So depending on which goal that task is associated with, I will highlight it in that color. And then up here, I would break down this section into 2. So up here, I would put all of my tasks for my 3 main goals that I want to do that day. And then once it's completed, I will highlight it and then like write how many task blocks it took me. And then down here, I created this kind of mini system that has nothing to do with the actual HB90 system, but it works for me because I felt like I was wasting a lot of time And because there was no way within the HB90 system for me to keep track of what I was doing that didn't have anything to do with my goals, I didn't know where that time was going. So I created this, I call it the antimatter system, which honestly is it's nonsensical. I call it that because I called my time that I couldn't really see where it was going and I didn't know what I was doing during that time, like antimatter, and then the time that was spent on the tasks for my 3 main goals was like matter. So like I could see this, I knew where my time was going, and so that was kind of, I hope that makes sense. It probably really doesn't, probably only makes sense to me. But within the antimatter system, I would keep track of everything that I did that was not related to my goals. And then anything that was within this like time that was productive and that needed to be done, and like something that was either productive, needed to be done, or couldn't have been like worked around, like it's not time wasted, I would highlight in the color that I designated for this. And then anything that wasn't necessary, like my time didn't have to be spent doing that, I just left unhighlighted, and that would be like the blank areas in the hourly. And then down here is where I would kind of do the math and figure out how much time I actually wasted during the day. And so I would keep track of when I woke up and when I went to sleep, so then I would know exactly like how many waking hours I had in the day, like how long, like how much time I actually had, how long was I awake. And then I would calculate the amount of time spent on matter activities, which would just be the tasks for my 3 main goals. So I would like add all that up, and that would go here. And then I would subtract that number from the total amount of time I was awake, so then I could get my gross antimatter number. So that's the amount of hours not spent on my 3 main goals. And then I would take all of the time used on productive like antimatter tasks, and I would subtract that from the gross antimatter number, and then I would get my net antimatter number, which is the amount of time that was wasted, that was spent on things that it didn't need to be spent on. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I printed out the first quarter, and then because these rings are relatively small, I knew I wasn't going to have enough space to put an entire second quarter in here. Or like if I did, it was going to be really tight. So I think it was either at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year, I did a video where I went through all of my planners that I had laying around, like unused planners, and I tried to kind of designate a purpose to them ahead of time. And what I did was I realized I had 3 planners that each would work as like an alternative to the HB90 system. I could kind of alter it to make it work. So that's what I'm doing. Stick with me. It's okay. So I have these 4 tabs here, whoops, with the quarters on them. So I have Q1 there, and then within Q1 I have January, February, and March. And then I have a tab here for Q2, and this holds the workbook section for the quarter. And then after Q2 is done, I'll move it to the back, so it's behind Q1 and it actually makes sense. But for now, it's right here. So I have the whole quarter worked out as far as like what I plan to utilize my days for, and then any holidays or vacations or anything like that is worked out here. And now, I'm gonna move this over here. Sorry, I'm shaking you a little bit. Okay. Now, for Q2, I have this priority planner. I don't really know. The Rachel Hollis priority planner. So I purchased this before I had bought the HB90 because I wanted a system like the HB90. And then I found this and I was like, oh, you know, I'll try to use that. And I tried and it didn't really work for me, but I have altered it. So it is now working well enough for me. So I have finished the entire month of April in here and we are on to May. I have not set up my May monthly. This is what my April monthly looks like. I don't put too much in the monthly, just enough for me to be able to get a glance of like where the holidays are, what I planned to use my days for, and I have a little key on the side. Also ignore that. Those aren't my nosebleeds. That was for my son. He kept getting nosebleeds. He had another one like earlier, but I didn't track it. So I wanted, when you start having multiple like really close together, I started tracking them in there just so that I would know in case they kept happening. Anyway, we are on to May. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this and transferring it to here. So first let's see, what colors did I use for that? There we go. Okay, so I used the pink to mark the days I was going to use, or not use, film for YouTube. All the stuff on the side, like I just ignore that. Oh, I do need to put the numbers in. Okay, I'll do that. So pink that's going to be my filming days for YouTube. And what's today? Today's the 5th. Let's see. 6, 7. Okay, so I think every Monday in this month, except for the 26th, is going to be a YouTube filming day. So there, and then I'll film on the 27th instead of the 26th because the 26th is Memorial Day and my son does not have school on that day, so it'll be easier for me to film on the 27th. And then this week I have some extra filming days. So Wednesday and Friday. And those are not on like my master monthly plan, but I will be able to film extra this week, so I'm going to put it in there, which I did not know when I made this, so that's fine. Okay, and then I use a different color for this, but that one ran out, so I have a green one now. It was like a teal one before. This is going to be for work days. So I ended up doing that on, usually my work days are on Thursdays, but they're going to be a little different for part of this month. So I worked on Friday, and then this week it's gonna be Tuesday and Thursday. And then I think next week it's also gonna have to be Friday, because on Thursday is the day that my rabbit has to go get neutered, which isn't really gonna take up my day because I have to drop him off really early in the morning and then pick him up probably in the afternoon sometime. But there's something else happening this day, I'm pretty sure. I just don't remember what it is. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. So I'm going to, just to be safe, make it Friday instead. And then the 22nd and the 29th those should both be fine for being my work days. And then let's see, the 26th is holiday, so we're going to do that. And I don't think there's any other holidays this month. No. Okay, is this Memorial Day? Sorry if you guys can't see that. And then red is for when my son has days off school, so that's on the 26th. And then also on the 30th, because I'm pretty sure the 29th is his last day of school. So yeah, 29th is his last day, so. And then my husband is on a trip right now, so I'm going to mark that with this blue. That there. There. Okay, so that is my May monthly. And then we go into the first week. So what I did was I just printed out these sheets on sticker paper and put them over. So this planner has this as its like weekly at a glance, and then it goes into the dailies, but it also has this other weekly spread right here that I just didn't need at all. I honestly don't even remember what it looked like, but it worked out perfectly for putting these sheets here. And I don't remember, I mean, it doesn't matter what size I printed it out at, unless you're planning on doing this exact same thing, which is probably not likely. But they all say week 1 at the top because I just took that page and I printed it over and over again as many times as I needed. I'm really not paying attention to the week number right there, so it doesn't matter to me. But I will put the dates. Have I been putting the dates? Yeah, I haven't been putting the dates, but I probably should. So this is May 5th through the 11th. And then if I have any, like, anything important happening that I need to know that's going to, like, hinder my schedule, not really hinder my schedule, but kind of like throw my schedule off from what it normally is, I will write it up here. So like this week I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, so on the 7th, have a doctor's appointment, and then I don't think there's anything else that I need to put in here. I think everything else is fine. Okay. And then my 3 goals, I have a writing goal. Oh no, I'm running out of space. Darn. I have a writing goal. I have a like YouTube goal. And then I have like personal goals, like personal growth, I guess, kind of well-being and growth goals, just like personal stuff in general. So I don't think I'm going to get around to writing this week. So I'm going to leave this goal blank because I don't think I'm going to get to that. Okay, my second goal is like YouTube and like creative stuff goals, creative goals and YouTube. This week I will be mostly filming. Actually, I need this planner. So I film, and then I'm going to list. Sorry, I'm shaking you guys. I don't even know why that happens. The arm that holds this camera is connected to something that's on a completely different desk, and the desks don't touch. But somehow every time I move, this thing moves. I don't understand. Like every time I move the desk, because like when I like jump on the ground, it doesn't move the camera. But if I like move the desk, I don't understand how that happens. The desks are not touching. I'm baffled. Anyway, so I put film, and then I list everything that I plan to film for that week. So I already filmed my mini happy planner, plan with me. That's a B. Now I'm filming this, which is the HB90 plan with me. I need to film a reading journal video. An update for my 25 and 2025 project on my other channel. In case you didn't know, I do have 2 other channels. I have a like crafting channel, crafting and art channel. And then I have another channel, which is kind of just everything else that I feel like making videos on. Makeup, wax melts, and books. And those are always linked, well, recently they've always been linked in the description box, so those should be down there in case you're interested. I need to film my summer TBR, work on my art vlog, and Panda's eyeshadows update. And then as I film these, wow, I'm sorry I keep shaking you guys. I really don't know why that's happening. It's super annoying. I will just highlight them once they're filmed. And then I need to edit, upload, and process all of those. And then let's see. I'll often look back at previous weeks just so that I don't forget anything. Okay. And then I will be doing some painting. And then I'll just write like, I don't know, however many I think I'll get done in the week, and then I'll highlight them whenever I finish them. I do call them sketch because right now I've just been working in my sketchbooks. And I'll just keep calling them that because that's easy. Which one am I on though? Because I am keeping track of them in like a master list. So I'm on 15. 15. Usually I write down 5. I think I'm gonna get more than 5 done this week. So I'm gonna put 10. We'll see. Okay. Then, yeah. And when I do put like tasks for my writing goal, usually I'll just put like writing, and then underneath I'll put like however many days I plan on writing, depending on which days I'm on. So it would be like day 1, day 2, day 3, and then once I write on it, like if I write during it the day, on a day, whatever, I'll highlight one of those and then keep going. Hope that makes sense. Kind of like this. Goal number 3 is for, like I said, just like personal stuff. I don't even remember what I titled it. What did I title it? Self-improvement. Okay. I do, because of the medication I'm on, I have to weigh myself every week. So I put a little checklist for weighing in. And then this probably is going to seem weird to most people, but I do track my showers to make sure that I'm showering enough, because for various reasons, showering is really difficult for me. I do shower enough, just let that be known, but I like tracking it really helps me, because I will also like, there have been times, and I'm not proud of it, but there have been times where I've like showered and then like 2 or 3 days pass and I haven't showered again, and I just like literally don't even realize it's been that long. Like in my brain, I showered yesterday. So this has been helping a lot. And then I also keep track of doing my skin and body care. So this is just the minimum amount in a week that I want to do both of those things. And each time I do it, I will highlight one of these numbers. And then makeup. I usually try to do my makeup at least 3 times a week, sometimes because like I need to for filming, and also because it's helping me get through my makeup stash by doing my makeup more, and it just kind of helps with my mental health a little bit sometimes when I have makeup on, when I do my makeup in the morning. So I think I'm probably only going to end up doing it twice this week, but I will put 3 just in case. And then I keep track of my journaling, and I try to do that 5 times a week. And then reading. So anything that doesn't have like multiple iterations that I want to keep track of, I just put a checkbox next to it. Anything that has like a list of things or like multiple things I would want to check off or keep track of, I put them underneath the heading. So reading, Spanish practice. I would like to try to do my nails. working on my spiritual practice and meal planning and prepping for the next week. I need to do that for this week too though. Usually I'll put it in here and it's like on Sunday I'll do my meal planning and prepping for the next week, but I haven't done it for this week yet, so I need to put both of those down. And then meal planning and prepping next week. And then I will take the highlighter color that's designated to that goal and I will just highlight any headers that I have and any like checklist tasks just so that they stand out better. And then once I complete these, I'll check them off, and once I complete these, I will highlight them. So goal 2 is pink, goal 1 is red, and then goal 3 is purple. Okay. Excuse me. And then I will move over to here and input all of these tasks into here, and then put how many task blocks I think it's going to take me to complete. Sorry, I have to clear my throat. My allergies have been so obnoxious lately. So filming, let's see, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna put 10. Because I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on the art vlog, but it's probably going to be a lot. So each of these other videos should take me about 30 minutes to film-ish. So, and 30 minutes is one task block. So I'm just going to put it at 10 and then we'll see. I count editing, uploading, and processing as like one. Like I check them off individually on the task list so that I know I've done all of them. But then when I'm keeping track of task blocks, I count them as one task because it's just easier to count it all as like one grouping of a task. So I just put edit / process. And how long is that going to take me? Maybe 5 task blocks. I don't really care so much about these being super accurate. I just want to have an idea. Because at the end of the week when I go in and I mark off how many task blocks it actually took me and like write the actual in here, then that's really what I care about. But I do want to get kind of an idea of how much time I think it's going to take. And then painting. I don't know how much painting I'm gonna do off camera because I think most of it will probably end up being filmed for the art vlog. But I'm gonna put an amount just in case, and I'm gonna put it here just in case. But like, let me see if I can find it. Last week, I checked off all 5 like sketches. I finished 5 pages in my sketchbook, but over here, there's like, I actually put 0 time as working on painting because all of these were done while I was filming, so that counts towards my filming time instead. So I'm sure at least half of these will be done during filming, but I would like to do some that's not on camera. So how much time do I want to spend not? Let's put 6. That would be 3 hours of painting, not on camera. I think that that's feasible. And then I obviously don't need to keep track of like task blocks on weighing myself. Like that takes 2 seconds. But showering, and doing my skin and body care. I used to calculate those, like keep track of those as like task blocks separately, but I do them one after the other, and since they're kind of lumped together as one big task, and there's no reason like I need to know specifically how much time was showering versus how much time was doing my skin and body care afterwards. So I have just started counting them together. Like I count the task blocks, the amount of time it takes together. I do like keeping track of them separately here because there are some days where I will shower but not do my skin and body care if like I'm in a hurry or I can't handle it that day for whatever reason. So I do like keeping track separately here, but as far as knowing the task blocks that it took, I just do it as one. Also, I don't know why I keep shaking you. I'm so annoyed. Anyway, so I'm gonna say 8. I feel like I have been taking longer showers recently, so I'm just gonna say 8. And makeup, if I do my makeup all 3 times, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm only gonna do my makeup twice. That usually takes me between 30 minutes and 45 minutes. So let's say it's 45 minutes both times. That's 3 task blocks. So let's do 3. Journaling. Usually takes me between 15 minutes and 30 minutes each time. So let's say 3 on that as well. Reading, I would like to read at least an hour a day. So that would be 14. So let's put that because I do want to do that. And so there's 10 boxes right here. So when my estimated is more than 10, I will skip a line, and I'll show you why I do that in a little bit. But I will skip a line. And then Spanish, I do 15 minutes a day. So that's 3.5. So 3.5. Nails, if I do them, my nails usually take me a while because I don't just like paint them with normal polish. I could, but I do like usually doing like extensions, like fake nails and like gel. So it takes me a while. So I don't know. I'm gonna say 6 because I think that's usually how long it takes me. Might not take me quite that long because I'm not taking them off also, but we'll just go with that. Spiritual practice. I'm gonna say 2. And then meal planning and prepping, since I have to do it for 2 weeks. Usually meal planning doesn't take me long. It takes me like less than 15 minutes. And then meal prep usually takes me 30 minutes to an hour. So maybe I'll put 3. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and take the colors that are associated with the goals, and I'm going to highlight how many task blocks I am estimating the tasks will take me. There. And that is why I skip, so that I can highlight on the next line also. 3.5, 6, 2, and 3. And then down here is the task block summary. So in this top one, you're supposed to write the available task blocks for the week. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It doesn't really, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me that much, because the amount of task blocks I have available, knowing that number is not really going to make a difference in the task blocks that I actually end up using. It is good to kind of be able to compare at the end of the week how many I used versus how many were available. But the problem is that I don't have anything that tells me, well, I do. This is kind of why I created the antimatter system. But if that didn't exist, I would have no way of knowing if the amount of available task blocks stayed the same or it somehow changed during the week because there was an interruption. Do you know what I mean? So it's really not super helpful for me because I do often have interruptions during the week. That changes the actual available task block amount. So I usually just don't bother with that. Sometimes I do, but usually I don't. And then the way that I know if I were to have a discrepancy between the two numbers, between the available task blocks and the amount of task blocks I used, the way that I would see whether or not I have a discrepancy would be by utilizing my antimatter system and seeing how much time I wasted. So that kind of fixes that problem. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm not really saying that really well, but I will fill this out at the end of the week. And then for task blocks used for recurring tasks, I will write down how many task blocks I used for cleaning during that week. I do not calculate that into my task blocks used for the week because I want to know how many task blocks I used, like I utilized towards my actual goals. But I do want to know how much time I like spent cleaning. For some reason, I want to know that. So that is that setup. I have not really been utilizing this too much. I did use it. Let's see. There was one week where I used it. Let me find it. It might have been the first week. I think that might have been the only week I used it. Yeah. So this is how I used it. Basically, these 3 were like my top 3 goals for the week. And then this was my like typical like what the typical day of my week was going to look like. And then here I wrote down the like main goal for each day of the week. And then I was going to write down all of the large tasks that I actually completed there, but it's just not, it doesn't really work out too well for me. This one kind of does. This one's a little pointless because if I have a week like this week where I have 2 different types of days, that are happening. Like I have work days and I have filming days. And then within a typical week, I actually have larger variety within the types of days that I have. So this section here is not super helpful, to be honest. This is meant to be like a place to write down your morning routine. My morning routine is literally just getting my son ready for school and then sitting down to drink my coffee and have breakfast. So that's just, is what it is. So I'm actually going to fill this out. But again, not that it's like super helpful, but I am going to fill this out. I am actually going to put up here, let's see, we can write the dates here, May 5th through the 11th. I have a doctor's appointment this weekend, or this week, so I'm going to write that in. Doctor's appointment. Not that I'm really going to reference this much. I don't think I am, just because I'm not used to filling it out, but we'll see. Yeah, again, this is useless for me, really, so I'm not going to bother filling that out. And then the days, we've got the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and we'll just put the 10th on there, just because I don't really know why it doesn't have space for 7 days. I don't know why it has 6, because you would think it would have either 5 for each day of the week, like each weekday, or it would have 7 so you can use all the days. I don't know. 6 is kind of confusing. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. So today, my main task is filming. That's what I'm going to be doing pretty much all day. So filming, working tomorrow, and then Wednesday is doctor's appointment and filming, and then working again and filming again, and then I'm just gonna put my weekend plans in general here. So let's put /11. And time, I'm not gonna be like filling that out, whatever, I don't think. And then I don't even know what that says. I haven't even read it. I'm not even paying attention to that. Let's see. Plan, paint, and meal plan / prep. Okay. And then I'm just ignoring this also, this week's theme song. I don't need that. Yeah, so that's really the extent to which I would utilize this page. It's not really super helpful for me, but just so you guys could see like how I would fill it out if I decided it was useful. Really wouldn't be much there. And so now we have the daily pages. So now up here it is Monday the 5th, so May 5th. And I literally ignore all of this. And this is where, here, let's see, let me show you. All of these I put right here. So let's see, filming, editing, Spanish, reading, and yes, my handwriting's messy, I don't care. What else do I want to get done today? Let's see, journaling. Shower/skin and body. I'm not doing my makeup today. I do want to try and meal plan and or prep for this week today, so and then I think that's gonna be it for today. So I have already started kind of tracking what I have done this today. So tube, film, and then I will take the highlighter that is associated with the tasks and I will underline them so that I know the task that it's, or I mean the goal that the tasks are associated with. And then once I do them, I will highlight them. So I have filmed already, obviously I'm filming right now, but I don't know how many task blocks I have filmed for because I'm not done yet. So I have highlighted that because I've done it. And then I will go and highlight it here because I filmed there, and then I'm also filming now, but I will highlight that once I'm done with this filming session. And then I did my Spanish already. Do 15 minutes of Spanish a day. So that's half a task block. And now I need to start setting up my antimatter tracker. So I keep track of when I woke up, which was 6:30 this morning. And then I will, tomorrow morning, I will write down what time I went to sleep. So then I can, oop, that's supposed to be O. I can get my total number of waking hours, and then the amount of time spent on matter tasks, which are these up here. And then I will get my gross antimatter number, and then I can get my net antimatter number. And all the rest of this will be filled out tomorrow morning because that's when I'll have all of this information. And then over here is where I keep track of antimatter activities. So I have less space in here, I feel like, than I did when I was doing it on like the printed out like actual pages for the planner. So I only write down the kind of like productive, couldn't have been helped activities, and anything that doesn't count as that, anything that would count as like wasted time, I still write in here. It just doesn't get highlighted so I can see the blank spaces. So we've got my morning routine, and that took one task block. And then we have, actually, I write meals so that I don't have to take up too many spaces. So meals at the end of the day or tomorrow morning, I will write down how many task blocks I spent on eating. And that's all I have there so far, but all of that gets highlighted in its own color. So there and there. And then so far the only like wasted time was 15 minutes before I started filming this video, when I was just watching YouTube. So Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then part of the like process of the HB90 system is using a Kanban board, and I use a digital Kanban board. It's on an app. What the heck is the app called? Miro? I think it's called Miro. It's not a Kanban app, but I made a Kanban board on it, and that's how I'm utilizing it. It has like a bunch of it's got sticky notes, and it's meant to be like this virtual kind of like pin board situation. So I made my own Kanban board on there. Okay, I'm not sure where I left off because I did have to leave to go pick up my son from school. So I did put that in. I think I was talking about my digital Kanban board on the Miro app. I think that's what it's called. Let me look. Yeah, Miro. And I have been keeping up with that for the most part, but what I've been finding is that I don't know that a Kanban board is necessary for me because I'm already keeping track of everything in my planner, and the only way a Kanban board for me personally I think would be like useful enough for me to really have one, because I've kind of been pittering off on using it just because I'm finding it's a little bit redundant and it's not really helping me that much. I think I would need a physical one, but I don't have space for a physical one right now, so that's just not doable. And I think if I had a physical one, it would serve as like if I had a physical one, then it would serve as like a visual reminder of all of the things that I want to get done throughout the quarter, and also what I am currently planning on working on throughout the week, and that would be helpful. But having that in like a digital version where I have to remember to go and look at it it's not really helpful in that way for me. I would need it in a place where I'm gonna see it every single day, like no matter what, and I don't have to remember to go looking for it. So in that way, the digital one is not super helpful. And then also if I had a physical one, then I'd be able, also you guys can hear them mowing. I'm sorry, I thought they were done. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna keep talking because I'm almost done. But being able to pull off the sticky notes and like keep them in a pile throughout the quarter would serve as like a physical representation of how much I've accomplished throughout the quarter, and that would be motivating for me. But again, because it's on a digital one and I'm not seeing like a jar fill up, it doesn't do that. So I don't know. I think I'm going to keep doing it for now just to keep up the habit for whenever I am able to have a physical one. But right now it's kind of a redundancy for me. Anyway, that is it for this video. That is how I've been utilizing my HB90 planner, and also getting use out of planners that otherwise would have just been sitting around collecting dust, because I never would have gone back to using this planner, I don't think, if I hadn't converted it into like a makeshift version of the HB90. So I am glad that I am getting use out of it that way. But yeah, so that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how I use this and seeing how I've kind of jerry-rigged the system a little bit. And yeah, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.